for anybody who couldn't be here today. So thank you all for giving up a little bit of your afternoon. My name is Ricky Alexander, for those that don't know me, and I will be the Math 90 coordinator for the new Math 90 beginning fall 2020. So I thought it best to have some of these informational sessions throughout the summer. And I wanted to do more than just one or two because there's a lot of information, and I thought it best to kind of chunk it up. That way, if for those that couldn't be here today, if they had a question about the syllabus, they can just access the the meeting that talks about that, or if you forgot something that I said during the meeting or a question that was asked, you can search out the video, which will be posted in Teams. And I'll talk more about Teams here in just a moment. I'm going to share my screen with you, and I just posted this document in Teams, so you will have access to this document, just kind of outlining what I wanted to go over today. Basically, this Math 90 course is a beginning algebra course, but students will have the potential to complete up through intermediate algebra, and if they're motivated and if they're able to work ahead. So students will work at their own place or at their own pace, but there's guidelines to make sure that they get through at least the beginning algebra content. So for those of you that have taught 90 currently, the current 90, this is different because students were completely left to work at their own pace. And now there's some guidelines to make sure they're getting through the beginning algebra content at the very least, but they certainly can move ahead. There will be small group and individual instruction provided by the instructor. Just like the current 90, there may be more need for small group instruction because the students may tend to be more at the same level. And you can pull reports from Alex, and you can pull those groups aside to do little mini lectures or mini lessons with them as needed. There will be bi-weekly homework assignments in Alex. So those are the new objectives. So currently, if you've taught, oh, I'm seeing there's a bunch of people waiting here. Give me a second. Hold on. Okay. So if you've worked with 90 currently, I've taught it in the past, the objectives for our old developmental math courses, Math 8, Math 22, up through 55. This time they're going to be labeled homework assignments, and there's going to be 2 given a week. So if you're teaching like a Monday, Wednesday section, it's going to be, the idea is that they would complete 1 homework assignment on a Wednesday, and then they would complete the next one on a Sunday. If the student completes the homework assignment early, this is where they will have the opportunity to move on to the next one. So if they get that objective up to 100% before the due date, the next one will open up for them, and they can work ahead of what some of their classmates may be doing. There will be group activities. Again, that's similar to what we're doing now. Those activities will be more in line though with if the students are keeping that minimum pace, those activities will be in line with what they're going over in class. There will be comprehensive knowledge checks used as exams. But this time, again, if you've taught 90 before, this time the score that they get on that knowledge check will be accurate because it's actually going to be out of where they should place at that particular time in the course. So if the first knowledge check I forget what the percentages were, but if that first knowledge check occurs when they've, gone through 28% of the material, then that's what they're being scored out of. Have they mastered 28% of the material? Students will be getting a grade, and they must earn an A, B, or C to move to intermediate algebra in the next semester. So this is a student that's kind of working at the pace that we've set. They really don't they either don't go into the intermediate algebra content, or they are there, but they haven't gotten very far. As long as they get an A, B, or C, then the next semester they would be eligible to take the intermediate algebra, which is also a brand new course, Math 91. If the student wishes to place or test out of 91 while in Math 90, then they would have to get an 80% or higher on the comprehensive final knowledge check for 91. They wouldn't get a grade for 91, they'd still get a grade for 90. And on their transcript, you would see that they had the 90 and then whatever grade they got. And to be eligible to place out of developmental, to show that they've actually completed Math 91, they'll get an ALEX placement score. And that score will be uploaded in Banner, which will then allow them to take their college level math. Does anybody have questions or comments at this point? Okay. Before I go into the syllabus, well, I guess I didn't save that. I had sent out an email outlining the differences between the Math 90 old, as we were going to be calling it, and then Math 90 new starting fall of 2020. Just kind of outlining the differences, because it is a brand new course. Even though it has the same number, the way that we're approaching it is different. And I actually updated, I think I have that on my flash drive, but I actually updated one part of that came up in another meeting that I attended, and that was the time and topic. Like currently there's a time and topic requirement for Math 90 that they actually get graded on. Moving forward, there's going to be no time requirement. So there is going to be a topic to try to encourage them to, go a little bit further if they can. They're going to have to complete 20 topics a week, and that's fixed through the semester. That doesn't change. So I will make sure I put that in Teams. Right. Feel free to jump in if you have any questions or comments at any point. Just simply unmute yourself and let me know. All right. So what I'm pulling up now is Microsoft Teams. I have added all of you to the Math 090 Microsoft Teams. So you can, I have it both on my phone. So there's an app for your phone if you want it there. You can also have it on your device, as I have it on my laptop. And what's nice about Teams is it's a great way to organize everything regarding a certain course. That way, like if somebody has a comment about 90 or wants to look up the syllabus for Math 90, it's all going to be in one location, and you don't have to like search through old emails or go to the Math D2L website. It's all going to be located right here. So if you're teaching other courses, especially if you're teaching the Math 70 or the Math 80, you will have a team for that, and eventually all the courses that we offer at HACC are going to have their own team. So again, all the information will be in one location, which will be nice. So Math 90 Fundamentals of Algebra 1 is our course. And then the teams are split into channels. And again, this is what makes it nice. So you can just jump to one thing if you're looking for like the syllabus, or if you're looking for one of the videos that I'll be offering, you know, this summer from the training sessions, you'll be able to search that by the channel. So there's a general channel, and you can see there's already been some posts. I like it because it keeps it all in one place. I don't have to go searching in my emails, and I'm terrible with that. I have 3,000 emails. I just checked. I have not, because I'm so afraid of deleting stuff, and I'm not very good at organizing it into folders. And I have to go through and do that soon, but this does it for me. So anything Math 90 related will be here. See, I got a chat. All right, so question, could they take the class over again if they don't pass? And the answer to that is yes. Okay, because now it's more of a traditional course. So if they get a D or an F, they can retake the Math 90 class, yes. If you don't see the 90 teams when you log in, Mallory, would you know?
No, but I'll go look and see if I can figure it out while you can keep going.
Okay. And I would say, Mary, I'll double check. I think I saw you on the team, but I can contact Jason Rosenberry too to see, because he's kind of the teams person. And I'm learning this myself, I'll be honest. It's pretty easy to use so far, but I don't know all the answers. Okay. So, as I said, the team is split into channels. And then also within each channel, you can focus on a specific thing. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the course syllabus and course policies. And right now, nobody has posted any comments in there. There's no chat going on. But if you had a question or a comment about the syllabus, this would be the place to do it, because I can go in as well as everybody else that's part of the team and see that and know that it's tied, you know, specifically to that channel. I have uploaded the Math 90 syllabus as well as the course policies. So that would be located under the files. And my understanding is too, Jason Rosenberry, like I said, who's basically the person behind this and is really knowledgeable about teams, has a video to help all faculty use teams in all different capacities. So I'm in the course syllabus and course policy channel. I pulled up files, and I've included both policy and the syllabus as a Word document and as a PDF. I'm going ahead and opening the syllabus here. So if you've taught Math 90 before, again, it's very similar. I just, you know, I've updated some of the things that no longer apply. And I don't know that I need to go through the entire syllabus, but know that it's here. And this is a sample syllabus, so this is certainly customizable. You can, you know, go in and adjust it if you know, write things a certain way. But notice, like the topic requirement, there's 20 topics. You have to complete at least 20 topics a week. That is going to be part of their grade. They're still going to have to take an initial knowledge check. They're still going to have progress knowledge checks, objective knowledge checks, and so on. And then one big thing that's different, I'm going to scroll all the way to the bottom, is this is more of a traditional timeline, right? Every time we create a syllabus, we have like a course outline or a timeline for the students. And this is for a 14-week, 2-day-a-week class as to what we would cover and then what that ties into. Now, in a later time, I'm not going to do Alex today because, again, I don't want to do too much in one time. But the next one, we're going to do a little bit with Alex, and then I'll be able to show you these objectives, and they're actually labeled homework 1, homework 2, homework 3, and so on. So they do have due dates. Students have to complete it within a certain time frame, but they can work ahead. Once they get 100%, the next objective or homework module will open for them and they can continue to work. And then we've designed this so that there's a good amount of review opportunity before a test. So you'll notice that test 1, the day before, all that's scheduled is an activity. And the idea is that, and you certainly could change this. Again, this is customizable to whatever works for your schedule. But we thought it would be a good idea for us to kind of pause and come together as a class and do an activity, which would not take the full 75 minutes, and then have a good opportunity to review for their tests. And then before test 2, there's 2 days, and the same thing for test 3. That's also a good time for catch up too. We thought that would be good. If any student's kind of lagging behind a little bit and they might be a couple of homework assignments or a couple of objectives back, that'll give them a little bit of wiggle room to get caught up so that they're better prepared for that test. Because everybody's expected to have at least a certain percentage by the time they get to an exam. It's not like our current 90, it goes off of completely what they've done. So if a student were to learn 5 topics in our current 90, and they take a test and they've mastered 5 of those topics, they get 100%. That's not going to be the case anymore, because if they've learned 5 topics and they were supposed to learn, 45 topics, their grade's going to be 5 out of 45. Just to make sure that they're staying on pace. So, I think there was another chat. I keep losing things. There's too many buttons open here. So if students don't finish topic goals, do the topics roll over to the next week? No. Only if it's a prereq. So what happens is, if they don't complete their homework, let's say they only get 50% and the time has ended, it's due, the next one will open up for them. So even if they get 100% before the due date, the next one opens automatically. They don't have to wait for the due date to come. It'll open for them. But if the due date has come and they do not have 100%, the next module, homework assignment, will open for them. And they won't necessarily have to go back to something that was in the prior one, unless it's a prereq. However, one thing that we have done is we've created exam review modules. So if the first exam covers the first, I forget, I have the syllabus in front of me, but let's say the first exam covers the first 3 or 4 homework assignments, then I put all of those topics, or my group put all of those topics in the review objective. So if they missed it, it's now going to be there for them to do again. Does that make sense? Let me go back and pull up the syllabus to better explain that. So test 1 will be up through 6 homework assignments, as we're calling that out, but there's 6 objectives. Let's say, just picking a topic out of here, let's say somebody did not do mixture problems. They just totally skipped that. They didn't get 100% on that on homework 5 because they skipped mixtures. Right before test 1, they're going to get a review module that's going to have everything from the first 6 homework assignments in there. So if they've already mastered it, it's not going to be something they have to do again. But if they've either never seen it or if they've lost it in a knowledge check, it's going to be in that objective for them to practice so that they are going to be better prepared for their exams. Does that answer that question? Okay, good. Because before too, it was a pain when students had to review. They had to kind of go back on their own. And unless it was something that was a prereq, they had to go back, and we always encourage them to get their objectives up to 90%. So they would go back and do that. Now it's going to be almost automatic for them to review because all those topics will be in one objective as a review. So if somebody's been doing very well, they've got 100% in all their homeworks, and they don't lose very much in a knowledge check, they're only going to have a very few objectives to do there, whatever they may have missed. But if somebody's been lagging behind or has lost a lot in a knowledge check, they'll have the opportunity to try it again to hopefully, like I said, help them succeed on a test. Does anybody else have questions at this point?
Ricky, I just have another question.
Sure.
Piggyback on that. So let's say like for week 2 or week 3, actually, the homework 2,
yep.
If student didn't complete, let's say section 3.4 by the due date, will that topic, like I guess, remain open so that they can do it in week 4 or the following week? Or once they missed it by the deadline, then they won't see it again until the review portion before the test?
Yeah, Mallory, and correct me if I'm wrong, but my understanding is that they just move on, but that will catch up to them. Like I said, if it's a prereq, it'll automatically, come up as something they have to do before whatever it's a prereq for. But if they skip section 3.4, they don't actually get to it. Now they're not going to get the grade because the homework 2 was already due. So if they had a 70% on homework 2, that's not going to change. But they'll have the opportunity when they get down right before exam 1, that topic is still going to be there in that review module. So now they can do it, but if they miss a lot along the way, they're going to have a lot in that review module, and they may not be able to complete it. So, of course, we want to encourage them to get these up to as close to 100% as they can. We want them to see everything in the learning mode. They might lose a little bit with knowledge checks, but we want them to see everything in learning mode so that when they get to the review, it's not something brand new that they're trying to learn right before the test.
Okay.
Thank you for the question. You're welcome. So the exams only have topics that they've seen? No. So to answer Beth's question, it's still going to be a comprehensive knowledge check. So somebody at test 1, let's say, there's somebody in the class who's already beyond that material, and they're working in the metric units and the Pythagorean theorem, but they're a couple modules ahead, let's say. They are still going to get a test tailored to where they are. But what's going to be different is everybody for test 1 is going to be on the same scale. So again, I don't have the percentages in front of me. I don't think. Let me just double check. We have already put these into Alex for the exams. Yeah, so the first, all right, by the first test, they are expected to have 31% of the course complete because there are 57 topics. There are 57 topics up to the first test. So that's what they're going to be graded out of, 57 topics. So somebody who's ahead, they might have you know, 65 topics, and they'll get 100%. But somebody who's a little bit behind or loses a lot during the knowledge check, if they don't have at least 31% by that first test, then they're not going to get 100%. They're going to get, you know, whatever out of the 57 topics. So somebody that has 30 topics out of the 57 is going to get like a 53%. Okay, so review contains only the topics they've not completed, or, so Christina, the review contains topics they haven't seen, or it will also include topics that they've lost. So when they took a progress knowledge check, you know, on their own that's not graded, if they lose something, it puts it back in their Alex pie. So that'll be something they have to revisit. And that's what's going to be nice. It'll be right there for the students. They don't have to like go searching for it. If they lose it in a knowledge check, it's going to pop up in that review. So attendance policy is the same as any math class. They're expected to be there. So it's the same as any class that we offer. Now I know in the spring when we went remote, we were all told that we can't expect our students to attend because of, you know, the craziness that the pandemic, you know, caused in everybody's lives. But moving forward, come fall, whether you're teaching it online or well, online of course is a different animal, but if you're teaching it remotely, you are expected to hold your class like you would if you were face to face. So if a student gets a low grade on a homework assignment, is there any way for them to improve that grade? Mallory, I don't think so, right?
Right. There's no way to do that.
Right. So if I mean, you could have a policy where you drop a low homework grade. That's what I do for my other classes. I don't allow them to make it up. They'll get the content again, but they're not allowed to make up the grade.
Ricky, I'm just going to jump in a little bit.
Thank you.
We just want to be careful, especially the first semester when we run this. We're going to try to keep it as consistent as possible. So maybe in the future we could talk about changing policies like dropping a grade. But I just know with like the pathways, we're going to try to do some assessment and everything like that. So in general, we want to try to keep it as consistent and, you know, do everything together and kind of see how it goes from there in general.
Well, and I think it's pretty manageable. When we set this up, it felt like, and you see that there's some opportunities here for students to at least catch up on the content. But that's what you really want to encourage any student that's falling behind, you know, in a homework assignment. Really have that conversation with them that, you know, they need to get up to speed to at least maintain this pace, because this is all the beginning algebra type of topics, and they need to get through all of this and get an A, B, or C to be eligible to take Math 91. So if they're falling behind, you know, they're not going to get what they need, and they potentially will not pass the class, and of course not be able to move on right away. Other questions? And as you have a chance to look at this, again, it's in Teams, you all have access to this. You can go in and look. You can use you know, the chat within this channel of Teams to make any comments or post any questions that you have. And then, you know, I'm constantly getting the notifications from it, and I'll you know, be popping on daily, and I'll respond to whatever questions or comments that you have. And then the course policies are here. So they are allowed to use the calculator. Everybody has access to the calculator embedded in Alex. It'll be available for them throughout the entire course. And then you can see, this is in the syllabus as well, but the grading policy, the breakdown. And again, we want that consistency. So that topic goal that I talked about, the 20 topics per week, that'll account for 5% of their grade. The objective, those are the homework assignments. So that's 15%. And there's several of these. Well, there's 17 homework assignments. So if they don't do well on one, it's not going to have a significant negative impact on their grade, because that's 15%. And then of course there's only 17 assignments. The class activities are 5%. There will be 3 exams and then a final, similar to what we have now. Somebody asked about the attendance policy before. That's here. It's the same attendance policy as if you were meeting face to face. And then I just want to call your attention to, again, what happens if they get through the 90 content early. So if somebody gets through Math 90 successfully, and it's prior to the end of the semester, then you will be able to put them into the ALEKS 91, so they'll have access to the Math 91 content. But these are the criteria. They have to get at least 80% on a proctored comprehensive knowledge check. Oh, I see a typo there. Exam 1, 2, or 3, I'll fix that and upload it. And then they must learn 100% of the course topics. So 80% on the final comprehensive, if they've gotten through all the material, and then they have to go back and get all the learning objectives, all the homeworks up to 100%. Okay. Then once a student switches, they're responsible for completing the topic goals. And they will not have to complete other exams, although, I mean, for a grade, because once they're in the 91 content, we're not going to grade them. They've already successfully completed Math 90. And when they get that final grade, that is their grade in the 90 content. It's just they'll be in the 91 with the potential of even completing that and then getting out of developmental math in one semester. We as a group felt that it was really important that they still have that opportunity to be able to take one semester developmental math if they're motivated enough, and then be ready for their college level math. And keep in mind, these are STEM students. This is a STEM pathway. So they need to, if they want to invest, less time and less money, we really want to encourage these students to get through, at the very least, to 90 content, but they need to get through developmental math so that they can take out their college algebra, their trigonometry, whatever they need for their STEM pathway. And then if you have the student who's really, really motivated and they complete not only 90, but 91, then, like I said, they could get through all of that, and then they could potentially skip Math 91 altogether and not take it as an actual 14-week, full semester course, and then be eligible for their college level math. Now, depending on their major, a lot of these students are probably going to be switching into the new Math 116, which is our 4-credit college algebra for calculus. We're trying to shorten that path as well. So, students, once they complete developmental math, will go to either Math 116, a 4-credit, or they'll go to the traditional Math 103 that we've had. Okay, so again, the course policies are there for you to all access. I just noticed a couple typos. I'll fix that and upload the corrections. Any questions or comments at this point? This is an amazing opportunity for highly motivated students. Absolutely. Again, these are STEM students. These are not students who just need like Math 111. They're in a different pathway.
So these students potentially have a lot of math in front of them. So if they can really take advantage of this course, get through 90 and 91, then they can jump right into their college level math the following semester. So I can't emphasize enough how important that's going to be to really encourage these students. And Linda Lindorfer was kind enough to create a graphic, which I'll share with the group. I'll post it in Teams, which really shows that. Saves you time and it saves you money. Any other questions or comments?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I'm really excited about this course. I think we took a lot of what we learned from Math 90 and made it into a really beneficial course for the students, like Lois said, to accelerate, but to also get the help that they need if they're, a weaker type of student. So I'm really excited.
Yeah, I like that they can advance like they did before, that we're not making them go back and have to take 2 semesters of developmental math, that they can get through within 1 semester if they want to. Yes. And any of you that will be teaching 91, and then you'll be getting some training for that, but that's going to have a lab component. So you think about students who potentially were in 90 and they didn't get through the 91 content. Now they're going to have a great amount of support in the Math 91, because there's going to be a lab component where they're kind of forced to get that extra help, because we want, again, STEM students, they need to be strong in math. So we want them to be as strong as they possibly can from the developmental, moving into the college level math. Anything else before I end the meeting?
Yeah, Vicky, I have a question. Like, I know during those classes when we don't have activities, students will be learning the topic and things like that on Alex. But like at the beginning of class, like I can always kind of go over those topics like ahead of time, like kind of like at the beginning, throwing some examples and things like that before I turn them loose and do stuff on Alex.
Yeah, so actually one of the training sessions I plan on having a little bit later on, we're going to talk, especially because we know for a fact we're remote for fall, kind of best practices for teaching this remotely, and pulling reports is crucial. I do believe that it's a good idea to look at either things that students have lost in a knowledge check, or what they're attempting to learn and they haven't mastered yet, and be able to pull, like just like we have in the past, small groups of students aside and have a little lesson with those students. So with us being remote, breakout rooms are amazing for that. You can say, you 3 students come join me in this breakout room while everybody else is still working on Alex, and then you can guide them that way. But
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Yep. So yeah, that'll come up, and I'm going to show you, there's going to be a couple information sessions devoted to Alex, and there's going to be an opportunity for us to discuss best practices with the remote. One thing though that has come across in several meetings that I've attended just in the end of spring and the summer so far is that attendance is expected. So students are signing up for a class that they know when it meets, they know whatever obligations they have going outside, outside of half their family obligations or work. So they are going to be expected to attend.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Anything else? Okay, well, thank you all for meeting with me today. If you think of any questions, please, you can email me, but I really would like to encourage you to start using the 90 teams so that not just I'm seeing it, but everybody that's teaching this course. And then certainly, there are some things that you might think of that, we can add to either discussions, something else you want to see in a training session, or some great ideas that you might have. Anything is welcome, but if you post it in Teams, everybody can be a part of that. So thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day. It's beautiful outside. Not too hot today.
Thank you, Ricky.
You too. Thank you.
Thanks, Ricky.